Good evening, and welcome to a very special live coverage coming live to you all the way from Lagos. I'm sure if you want to take a little bit of time and read through the topic for today. Today, the 4th of December 2017. It's exactly coming up to 21 days before Christmas. I'm very positively sure that a lot of people are getting ready for the Christmas. We hope within the next 21 days, both the Christmas and the New Year, we meet every one of us in a very good state of mind, good health, and also a very, very good 2017 wrapping up. We're all going to be looking forward to the 2018, which is just, again, not too far away. This is going to be a very focused conversation. We know we've discussed from my last video problems. I'm sure for those of you that must have watched that video, just about, let's say just about 2 weeks precise from now, would have noticed, would discuss about the problems that I've been able to witness, since I've been in the country for coming up to almost a month plus now. And we'll still be around for a very long time. Nigeria is a very beautiful place to be. Nigeria is a very beautiful country, good-minded people, lovely people. I tend not to believe if people say we're wicked. I tend to try to take that away from my mind, because apart from we're good, kind, and hearted people, we also have what they call human feelings. If you want to join this conversation, please do send me a request and I'll bring you on board, and we'll be able to share some of these solutions. I've got them written down, so I'll go with them stage by stage. And this is not just for the diaspora, but based on the interaction from the diaspora that have been reaching out to me from all over the world, saying, what are the solutions? And I said, I don't have the full solution to the problems. Nigeria is a big country, but we can cut this solution down to where individual, NGOs, those that are already working hard, can also be part of the solution. A lot of people talk about problems, but I now want to talk about solution. And so when you're commenting, you're going to come live. If you want to join this conversation, please send me a request and I'll bring you on board. And we will talk about solution. Let's focus more on the solution. We know there are problems there already, but let's just try and, keep it to the solution. We're not talking about fixing the whole problem of the country. I'm not the federal government. I'm just an individual trying to use my own talent to engage, with everybody that is out there. And we got to give kudos to the technology as well. I keep saying 15, 19 years ago, we could not do this. So if we're able now to reach out more, from communicating with people from the inside and outside the country, and then we will be able to see how we can move away from just criticizing, but also sorting out the solution. Thank you very much for those that have already joined in. If I don't mention your name, bear with me, but I know, like I said from the beginning, this is a country where people believe in the individual, and a lot of people are doing different things, from Nasarawa State to Raksin, that is trying to say, look, agriculture, we employ a lot of people, we can do a revolution around agriculture, and people believe in him, and he's been working very hard. From my sister there, Otori, that have just joined me, I've noticed as well, that was doing a free medical session just a couple of weeks ago, because I was following on Facebook. That shows that we're all trying to do pickpocket, but we need to up the game of those pickpocket solution. If everybody is doing that, then there will be less people, that are out there that are crying for help when we, that are very well, a little bit out there to be able to connect with individual, can then start looking at the solution. Solution is what I want us to discuss tonight. So like I said, if you really want to join the conversation, send me a request and I'll bring you on board. And you could tell us some of those solutions, from the ones that I have written down as well. And this solution goes to you to see how you can deal with those solutions. Mine is to tell you what I've been able to see from a very long period of time that I've been in the country, and I'm still going to be here, till God's willing, a very long time as well. But the most important thing is, maybe this solution, you could start using it as well. If we all kind of replicate it, and then we can start, reducing the poverty level. Like I said, you might think it's not possible. There's nothing impossible, because if Facebook was set up and is now, connecting billions of people, millions of people all over the world, from the rural area to places that a lot of us will never visit in our lifetime, but we can see, a kind of picture of it, through Facebook. I'm very sure that we can do the same thing as well as an individual, as groups, as NGOs, as different organizations, from old school association to university, your peer groups. That way, we can help a lot of people. So let us, focus on that, and we will be able to then see. Yesterday, for example, a young boy was posted on the Facebook, was found somewhere in Lagos, around Ikosi. He was taken down to a church. From the church, we can confirm to you now that he's now at the hospital. He's been taken care of. Well, we need to say a big thank you as well to those that found the child in the first place, and the person that sent the picture to Facebook. That tells you that, you'll be surprised how powerful, the communication is now, because in as much as we might think there's a lot of information out there, but some information will go out there and it will travel as quickly as possible. The young boy is now at Lasso Hospital. I'll be going there as well on Wednesday, but we would like to say a big thank you to Saffron CEO for making sure she was out there late last night trying to locate the young boy. And I had a conversation with her this afternoon, and we can confirm that the young boy is at the hospital now, and we'll be engaging, more on that on Wednesday. But what I was told from my conversation with, Mrs. Yemi, this afternoon, she said to me, Yomi, when I went to that hospital, just to check out this young boy, he's got epilepsy, a little bit of epilepsy. In that hospital, there's so many more cases of young children, young Nigerians. We got to remember, everyone, we are brothers and sisters, whether, we were born from different family, different mothers or whatever. But as long as we are born here, we are one. And that is the way we must start thinking. And remember, like I said, I'm going to focus on the solution. So someone has been to that hospital, check out this young boy, doesn't know him, but she decided to take it on her own responsibility, because messages were sent all the way from UK, and she was tagged, to say, look, you're on ground, try and do a follow-up with this young boy. And we know a lot of people are doing the same thing. We could follow, Aisha Lubankude, she would do a lot of posts, and people would do a follow-up to that. And everybody's doing that as well from their own various groups. But the question mark is, this hospital needs help. There are a lot of children there, I've been told, that are going through all kind of difficulties. But the only problem is they need help. to be able to fix some of these problems that they are going through. I would mention some of that quickly, and then we'll then start facing, the solution to the ones I've written down. David is the name of that young boy. For those of you that must have seen that video, the picture of this young boy that was posted last night. His name is David, and it's not the first time, he has been away from the house. But what I've been told is he's got a bit of epilepsy, and he needs help in terms of medical assistance. I mean, the some of the tablet that he's using cost about 5,500 for a 2 ml, tablet. Also, MRI scan that will have to be done on the boy. It's going to cost about 77,000 naira. Pardon me, 77,000 naira. Mrs. Yemi will be able to give you a little bit more information on that when I see her on Wednesday. God's willing. I will engage with her on Wednesday with the HOD of LASU as well. So we'll hopefully bring that to you. All goes well. The signal will be very good, and we can speak to the HOD as well. But David is not the only person, that needs help now. We know every hospital around the country. We're not saying the government is not doing their best, but what we are trying to do is what we as an individual that have been saying, look, what can we do, within our own self, within our network, to put that help out there. That is what, I'm bringing to you tonight for the next maybe, 1 hour or so. I've also been told there's another young boy there that has been sitting down, sleeping for the last 8 months. The boy cannot, sleep normally like me and you, that we will go to bed and we will have a nice, straight sleep on the bed because of a kind of illness that is going through at the moment. So for the last 8 months, this young boy have been actually sat down, each time he's going to bed in the night with a bit of pillowcase on him. I've also been told that there's another person, I think about 6-month-old or 1-year-old baby that that has a hole in his heart. There's a lot of problems, but how can we solve these problems now is what I want us to have a kind of conversation with. I will run through some of what I have written down, been in the country, see what individual can do. Maybe you can use that as your own template as well. I know a lot of people are giving back to their schools, as an old student association. But maybe if you start adding some of these as well, maybe that will go a long way. The first thing is set up a doctor visit to your area. It will be good if everyone start thinking of how can we bring in a doctor, if you're living in Bagada, maybe once in a month, organize a doctor to visit the area and let people turn up, even if they're just a bit of checkup, if they're not even giving them, any kind of medication, but at least they're having a checkup, and they can give them a note to say, look, Mama, this is what is wrong with you, take it to the next hospital or clinic or, wherever to get a kind of another help. So we can do that, individual can do that. You can, we all know someone that is a doctor. We know someone that, is in the medical field. Until we put a lot of things of this solution in place, all we just keep saying is, look, there's problems, but how do we solve it? The government can't solve all the problems, but we as an individual can start coming in more now, heavily, without waiting, for the UN, UNICEF to come and help us out. So, look at set up a doctor to visit the, not just the rural area, but also within the city. If you're living in Songwater, maybe you can have to say, look, maybe my housing association, let's have to, if they're having your monthly meeting, let's also have a kind of a doctor on ground so that people will turn up for that meeting if they know that there's going to be a free kind of, checkup. So, I know where I stay, there was a meeting last week, Sunday. So if there's a kind of a doctor that is coming as well, or a nurse, maybe more people will attend that kind of meeting and say, look, it's not just going to the meeting alone. You will also be having the opportunity to also have a doctor checking you out. I was at the FedEx last week. We know there were, as part of the giving back to the community. 4 schools, in Oshodi axis where, we're giving a kind of scholarship, and I was told that has been going on for the last 12 years. We as an individual should do more now as well. We know, a lot of us are doing with the secondary school, but I tend not to hear about the primary schools. The primary schools, I've been told, is about 80,000, secondary or public school in Lagos alone. That is a huge amount of, schools. But maybe we can engage more, with the schools as well to see how we can help them out. Uniform, shoes, pencil, they are basic things, but they are things that people need all the time. So let's also look at that. Borehole water, as an individual, as a group of people, it is high time that, because if people have the good water, there will be less, problem in terms of, what they're taking in, as water. So maybe we can also look into that as well. Let's do more visit to the homeless people until we get more people, visiting the homeless, the hospice. We were one at the Masha area just about 4 weeks, precisely, where, with the Olayomi Foundation, I was able to visit the, what's it called now? I think I've got the details there. Heart and Gold, which is just by Heart of Gold, which is just by, what's it called? The Masha area in Surulere. And while I was there, you could feel that there's someone that is giving love to children out there in Masha. Maybe we could do more of that as well, as individual, as groups, as NGO. When you're planning what to give back to the society, let us think more of giving back, to the homeless people as well. You'll be surprised that there's a lot of children that are going to bed late night with no food in their stomach. So it is very important that we visit, a lot of these places, not just in Lagos alone, but like I keep saying, the whole of the 36 states, of the country. Let us donate more food and water, again, to people that really need them. There's a lot of people out there that you might think have, food that they're taking in, but, you'll be surprised that, so many of them are going out every day with nothing in the stomach. Now for the diaspora. I know we're working very hard, not just in UK, but all over the world. We're doing our own little bit, and also those that are at home at the moment. But what I've noticed is there's no diaspora hub, like where, while I've been in Nigeria now, I could visit a hub where I could also meet different diaspora that have different ideas, and we can engage, we can have a conversation. So maybe we should start thinking of bringing different hub in all the 36 states. From 36 states, we could take it on to different local government. So if I go to Ogun State, I could visit a diaspora hub somewhere in Ijebu-Ode, and I know I will meet like-minded people. I will see what they're doing within that community, what help they're giving back, and we can report that back, to the global world as well, to say, look, we know there's a hub of diaspora in Ijebu-Oshin or Ijebu-Ode or Remo, or somewhere in the east in Edo State, or in Onitsha, or in Port Harcourt, or wherever, and we can say, look, we have that hub there. So each time a diaspora is coming up, you already have a database to say, okay, I'm going to be in Enugu when I'm in Nigeria, and I've been told there's a diaspora hub somewhere in Enugu where I can visit as well. And you can visit that, you could share more ideas with like-minded people within the community, and you definitely will be seeing some other diaspora that are also, in that hub. It could be like a leased room, but it will be fixed up where, you can go in there, spend 1 hour, 2 hours, and all that. So we should think of the diaspora hub. Also, diaspora food center. It is high time that we have, a lot of diaspora food center as well all over the country, so that we know that. I know individual, again, are working hard. We've seen that, on social media. But let us now have a diaspora hub so that, we can then look at it and say, there's a hub there. So if someone says, I'm hungry, and you say, okay, because a lot of information is coming up online and it's coming up frequently. How many people will you be able to send money to as an individual? But if these things are set up, I've named about almost 5 different, and I'll recap that again for those that are still just joining us. We're talking about solution to problems. We know there are problems, but what are the solutions? If you want to be part of it, send me a request and I will invite you, and you will also have your own say as well. So what we are looking at is, if we have this diaspora hub, and I've been able to, bring out different, kind of ideas where we have, and I'm just saying that I should be the one setting this up. I'm giving this out as an information to everybody to look at and think of it and put it in place for 2018. If you have, the resources, the fund, you could start it up now, within your own network. Almost everyone is in a WhatsApp group. So push all these to the WhatsApp group, whether it's your old school association, your club members, your church, your mosque, whatever groups you are in, push some of this information and say, look, you've listened to Olayomi Koiki, he's been on ground in Nigeria and he's given some of this solution that maybe a lot of us are not looking at it from a different angle. And I'll just recap again for those of you that have just joined us. Set up a doctor visit to your area. And when I'm in your area, it could be as anywhere from Gowan Estate to Lekki. You might think people that are living in Lekki, everybody's rich. You'll be surprised that there's so many people living there that are just walking there. Doesn't mean they have, the fund like any other person that is living there. So if you have something where they know that, okay, maybe once in a month, we can go to the area and say, look, we'll be having if a doctor coming around, we might not be able to give you everything, but at least we will give you the basic to check you out. Because the fear of an average Nigerian is, when I go to the doctor, I will have to go and pay a lot of money. And if I don't have that money, I'll just allow that, illness that is in me to stay in me, and I'll be taking agbo. And sometimes agbo is not going to solve all the problems. It's just a fact. Prayer is not going to solve all the problem. It's just a fact. Miracle is not going to solve all the problem. So if you're not feeling well, you're not feeling well. It's as simple as ABC. I had a cold last week. If I pray from now to then, it's not going to change anything. But what I've done is I've taken myself, get something to use, and I have a clear nose now, and I'm feeling much better. Then I could say, okay, yes, I was using it and I was praying as well. But if you're just thinking prayer alone will solve all this problem, I'm telling you, it's not going to solve it. So that is number one. Sponsor a school. I know a lot of us are doing that. We're doing that as well. As an Axoba, I went to Abeokuta Grammar School. We're giving back, every year. And I know it's not just my set alone. We're talking about, even up to, as far back as people that left in the 80s, that are still alive, are giving back as well. So we must continue to give back, not just to the secondary school alone, also to our universities. You'll be surprised that the universities are all in need of help. So if you have left a university in Suka, University of Ibadan, University of Lagos, and you are kind of alumni that have left that university, make sure you are giving back to, to some of the students that are out there. So we must know that by giving back to the university, we will also trying to encourage the students that are there at the moment to be able to, you might think of, okay, look at their library, offer something different. There's no free Wi-Fi. I know that already, with a lot of universities, maybe the private ones will have it, but the state university doesn't have it. So let us, look at how we can bring something different into some of these universities. Let's send the books to them. Let's help them out, in whatever ways that we can do, and that will go a very long way. That is for that. Also, giving back uniform, shoes, and pencil to some of the students as well in primary school is very, very important. That will help, some of their parents that doesn't have, 18,000 naira, is a basic salary in Nigeria. So these are some of the things that I've noticed since I've been in the country, And I'm just giving this. I know we're doing it, but let's up the game more. I wrote down as well borehole water. Let's help people. To bring in the borehole. Yes, people might say, well, that is the responsibility of the government, but we now want to at least come in and help out, and we cannot wait for the government anymore because we've been waiting too long for the government, and a lot of people are dying, and it's just a fact. If you don't know that, a lot of people are dying of basic amenities in the country. You might not see it physically, but we are seeing it, almost day in, day out. So, and until we as an individual, as a groups, as NGOs, continue to do more, then maybe we can start having a kind of relief system. But everybody thinks United Nations has got a lot of problems in their hands at the moment. UNICEF has got the same thing. DFAID has got the same thing. But if we are sending over 33 billion US dollars as diaspora into the country, we must be able to do more, within the community now. I know we're doing that already. So I was just touching base on the diaspora, what the diaspora can do. Also, let's look at set up more free medical for our community. I've just mentioned that, from the city to the rural area, healthcare is the biggest problem in the country. Health system, is nothing to write home about. So we now need to have a kind of system set up to be able to help individuals, help those that are pregnant, help those that have given birth. I've just told you, Saffron, the CEO of Saffron was in Lasso today, and, the report she was giving me back, I was really touched. There's, people in there that are, a young child that is have a hole in the heart, all kind of different cases. So until we maybe get involved more and we can start relieving, these parents that are thinking there's no more hope. We want to give hope to people. We want to give hope to individuals. Let us come together, with all what we've been doing already, and let us continue to do more. My plea to you this evening is to do more, within what you're doing already. Let us add, if you're already doing something, I'll plead with you to do maybe another 20% more next year, because people are real in abject poverty, and it's just a fact. People are in real abject poverty in the country, and until we get that right, we'll be able to help more people. Also, each diaspora, when you're in Nigeria, do something different from what you do on your normal visit. Maybe in the last few years, do something unique. Visit places, engage with more people, and find out what they're going through. Just the way I've been finding out on my day-to-day when I go out, just to find out what people are going through, what help they need, and we can be able to see how we can help them out. Also, since I've been moving around the rural area, I notice all these women are, doing gari, or maybe they are doing fufu. The only side that is covered that I see, and I'm sure some of you must have seen those pictures, is the section where they are doing the gari. Apart from that, all other section is wide open. So that means the heat that they are taking, from morning till late in the evening is just unbearable. And all they need is just a kind of cover around the whole of the area where they're working. We saw that when I went to Ilaro. They've been doing the fufu, and the woman said to me, well, I know you are just doing this, you will never come back. And I want us to make a challenge to say, look, we can come back and fix some of these problems, because all they need is just to cover the whole area where they have, they are making their fufu, and then give them a kind of life. The same thing goes in Odogbolu, the same thing goes in Abeokuta, and I'm sure the same thing goes in other part of the country as well. So we can do this as well. An individual can do it. Groups of people can do it. So when you're home for Christmas time, I know immediately after the school holiday in UK, in America, in Canada, a lot of you will be coming home. Just think of those young children that are in real difficult time, in the hospital, in their homes. Some are even scared to take their children to the hospital because they haven't got the money. So maybe, while you are at home, look within your area. If you're going to be staying in a very lovely area, lovely hotel, just check around. We're not saying put yourself in a danger zone, but also at least you can still visit places where, on a daytime. And Lagos is, I've been in Lagos for a very long time now. I can tell you, it's secured to my own. I go out, I don't go out very late, I don't come back home very late, but at least I do come back sometime just about 10 o'clock or 10:30. So, and I know, moving around, I've seen a lot of security operatives all over Lagos. Maybe it might not be the same in outside Lagos, in the northern part of the country. But while you are at home on holiday, visiting your hometown in the east and the north, try and do something different. Encourage somebody, speak to them nicely, do something different. That is for that. Also, a lot of the female, we're talking about those that are struggling, trying to get, what the ladies need to take care of themselves. Maybe when you're coming home for Christmas, just think of somebody. It could be your family friend, and get something different for them, especially the lady. Because what would happen is if we want to stop people traveling outside the country, or let's say people that really need to allow them not to go into a kind of prostitution, we must also help the female. The female, as and there's so how do I want to put it? They need the help, especially those in the secondary school. Get something different, and this goes as well to a lot of association there. Let's look at. It's only now that I realize that how do all these children that are in the school, especially the female, their sanitary pads and all, things like that. Let's see how we can help them out as well within your own cycle of friends, your NGOs. Every person is in at least 2 WhatsApp groups. So think of that as well. The other thing that I've noticed as well is a lot of diaspora have been coming home, but the problem is by the time they spend 2 weeks, they're running back because it's either too expensive. They spend all the money that they came with to the country, because you must do something. You must want to help people, your family, your friends, your network, and there's no amount of money as an individual that you will bring into the country. You will spend it, and you will go back. You have to work all over again for like a year. Sometimes people don't recover for 1 year. I've seen people say to me, Yomi, I was home 2 years ago. I spent so much, I could not even come back, after 2 years again. How do we now look at, at least as we're trying to help people back home, we're also trying to help ourselves. Some of these is what I've been able to notice is we must be able to have, a kind of a diaspora hotel where we can have a kind of discount. At least you're coming home, you're saving money, as a diaspora as well, staying in a diaspora, I was saying before, the hub. So we might have a diaspora hotel, our own transport system as well. It's possible, if we have our own transport system where you're coming home, you could get it at a discount rate to take you to Enugu, to take you to Kano, and also we're also helping back, the country itself. So let's look into that. I've not seen. Maybe people are doing it. Maybe they have it. Maybe because it's not written on the most of the vehicles I've been seeing on the road. But it is expensive moving around in Nigeria. It's one of the. It's just so expensive, traveling from point A to B. So if we have where someone that will be home for 3 weeks trying to work as an NGO, as an individual, they have a system that, okay, if apart from calling, other, rider, that you have a diaspora vehicle out there, you can book it in advance. You're getting at a discount rate as well, and that way you're saving money. So that all the money that you came with, people think, when you're coming as an individual, you're coming with thousands and thousands of, pound sterling, dollars. It's not easy on the other side as well. But if we have a system where, as a diaspora, we have all the systems set up, it will also help all the diaspora that want to be home for 2 days, for 3 nights, for 1 week, for 1 month, for 2 months, for 6 months at a very discount rate, and they can do more, to help, the community. Also, those that might look into like farming now is where everybody's going. I've seen a lot of people have reached out to me as well. Farming, everybody wants to go into farming. Again, we don't have our own, equipment, hire tools as a diaspora, where we can say, as a diaspora coming home, if you're going into whatever sector, you have the help there. Excuse me. Even if it's just a laptop that you need while you're at home, that you can use quickly, or you need an internet cafe and things like that. As a diaspora, we must have all these in place in all the 36 states, in all the local government, and it will help those that are in that community. It will also help individual as a diaspora. Once again, if you want to join, send me a request, and we'll be able to bring you on board as well. These are some of the things I've been able to bring out. We will recap. I will, mention it again for those of you that have just joined as well. Until we take solution to our hands in the small pilot scheme, then we can then look at it from a bigger picture. There's a lot of people that are out there that needs our help. There's a lot of people that are working tirelessly in every sector in the country as well. But the poverty level is just so high, and the income coming in for them is not enough. So if we have all this set up, we can at least help a lot of people out there to achieve something, and that will be able to go a very, very long way, helping them out as well. It's been a very, how do I want to put it? From the last time, I came to speak to you, apart from when I'm out there, showing you different live coverage, we thought of some of the solution that we can all put together, in your group, in your own network, bring them together and start implementing them from next year. And Nigeria will be a great country again. We know we are going through a rough time. It's a difficult time for the country. But I'm very positive that we will definitely come out of this situation very soon. But until we tend to see how we can help out as well, then it will go a very, very long way. Again, as usual, my name is olayomi Koiki, and I'm still going to be here for another maybe 10 or 15 minutes if no one is going to be joining. But for the time being, let us add more to what we've been doing already. I know a lot of us are doing extremely well, from individual, from community, but let us add 20% more to what we are doing, so that we can at least, cut down the high rate of poverty, in every part of the country. It is possible. We can do it as groups. We can do it, as a citizen of the country. Whether you're living in the country or you're living outside the country, let us try to come together and work extremely hard. It is very difficult living in Nigeria, I can tell you, with no electricity all the time. The electricity goes off. Internet is not something that is very cheap as well. So you can look at it to say, okay, if I set up a library, it's possible. You could lease out a place for 1 year and come together and put it out as a library to help, your own community. Put a library out there, put a kind of system where at least the children can come in there over the weekend, and the adult can come in to learn as well. Remember, education, goes a long way to help everybody. If you educate somebody, that person will educate the next person, and we can then replicate that as well. So all these ideas is what I've been able to bring out for you as an individual, for you as an NGO, for those that have been doing. Let us add more to it. But for those that are also requesting the assistance, the help, to get these things done, like I said, living in the country, it's extremely, extremely expensive, for those that are in the country itself, not to talk of those, that are just trying to come in and put in their own, little resources as well. Moving from point A to B, is one of the most expensive country, maybe in the world, maybe not. Individual will be able to say that, to be able to know that as well. But once again, you can follow us on all the social media platform, and if you also need us to engage with what you're doing, you want us to show it to the wider world, you want us to see what you're doing, you want us, maybe you've got a project out there that you already embark on, and you want people to see that so that they can help you, reach out to me, and we'll be able to see how we can work together, to make it happen. Wednesday, we'll be at Lasso, God's willing, on Wednesday, and we'll be able to at least bring out, a kind of, situation with the children department there with the CEO of Saffron on Wednesday, to show you where you can come in to help, as an individual, to help the needed, that those are really needed now. I mean, it's 21 days to Christmas. It's going to be my first, and I'll be able to see what we can do as well to continue to be able to showcase, to bring the best, the good, the bad, and the ugly. But the most important thing is until we all focus, from the bigger picture, because there's a lot of news out there now that people are following. The election is coming very soon. We know that. We know there's a lot of things happening. But why all these big things that you're reading on the internet, on the social media, let's think of the smaller picture that doesn't come to your screen day in, day out. It's not possible for us to showcase all these live coverage every day, but each time I go out there, I see a lot of things that is wrong, but I know we can make it happen. And making it happen is one of the reasons why I'm back to you now, telling you to go back into your own drawing table, with your groups, with your friends, with all your own network, and put in something back into the community, into the country itself. We can do it. We can make it happen. But sitting down alone is not going to solve some of these problems until we, me, you, people out there, come together and do something different. There's nothing to be scared of, but we must do something extremely different to be able to empower a lot of people that are out there that think there's no more hope. Until we're able to give them the hope, then things will move, better for their life, for the individual. But the biggest problem in the country is the healthcare system. The healthcare system needs a lot of help, and we have to help now, not tomorrow, not next day. There's a lot of people that are, still dying, trying to give birth, because there's a lot of, complications. They're not getting the right, medical treatment, that they should get. And at the end of the day, we're still losing a lot of babies out there as well. So let us, do something different now till, next year, and more years to come as well. Once again, thank you very much for everyone that have joined, and we hope, we can able to, establish, this new, initiative, these new ideas within ourselves to able to help out as much as possible. Thank you very much, and we'll be back again. Niger Voices will be back on Wednesday, God's willing, and we'll be bringing you